Oh my God, y'all. I think y'all have figured out that this is Beyond the Ordinary show by now, right? Clicked on the link, you got there. So it's like, welcome, just welcome. And it's just, it's going to be such an amazing call today. I can feel it. And I was so excited before it came in, and I'm even more excited now as Debbie and I talked a little bit about some subjects that are coming up that I'm so happy that she tuned into. So maybe a little controversial for some of y'all. It may hit home in different ways. It may bring up something that's been waiting to be healed, or something that you can help another heal in. And then we're going to get into intuition. And Debbie's going to give you some really practical suggestions and awarenesses, but also bring you into the awareness of who you are and how you can access this too. So, and of course, we're going to take a ton of live Q&A. So much fun in that. So we're going to take off. And if you're new to Debbie on BTO, she's an amazing guide. She connects with the angels and past loved ones. And, you know, we put out as an angelic reader, but Debbie's capacity to tune into the field in different ways, it is extraordinary. And when we get on the calls together, it's just the energy just goes to a whole nother level, it seems like. So I'm super, super excited about today's call. If you want to ask your personal question, click on the raise your hand button at the bottom of the screen, type your question into the chat box. We'll get into that in a little bit. And we'll get into Debbie's special offer a little bit later. It includes a reading with her, which is always extraordinary. April, you know, to buy mine right now. I always buy it right where we're on the call. Please purchase one for me so I can schedule my session sooner rather than later. And if y'all want to click on the special offer link, I think April's put in the chat box now. Y'all know that you want to go ahead and book your session, book it as we go in. And Debbie, with that, it's so wonderful to have you back, as always.
Oh, John, I love being on BTO. I'm super, super excited. I can feel everybody. Yay!
So amazing. So why don't you tell everybody the expression of your gift and how you share it with people who engage with you?
Okay, well, my understanding of what I do is I'm like a microphone for heaven. I hear heaven, and I hear your guides, your angels, your loved ones, like a translator. And my job is to literally relay the message to the person I'm speaking with, or a group, like a microphone. And I try and do it as literal as possible, removing the ego as much as I can. And I want to share this. Angels are kind of fun when they communicate. They use music, and sometimes loved ones really have their personality. So it's fun to kind of watch it unfold, or hear it all unfold, and relay these messages that only the person I'm talking to would actually get.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And you get so much, and you're able to tune in and really tune in particulars, tune into what's opening. And your enthusiasm when you read for people, it's, y'all, if you haven't had a reading with Debbie, she's like your biggest cheerleader also. It's like, you're going to walk away going, wow, she's more excited than I am because she can coming up. It's just I'm sure you've been told that before. You had to have. But it's amazing. It's the expression and the joy that comes through. So again, thank you for doing in the way that you do it, and share with all of us, and always for sharing the readings as part of the special offer. I want to dive in with you because we have quite a few things to talk about. And let's get into the controversial part of it that I mentioned at the beginning, that you mentioned that it was coming up, and was curious if I'd be willing or wanted to present it on the program. And it makes so much sense to me. It makes so much sense. Y'all, there was for women who felt like a freedom was taken away from them. It's not everybody. Different people have different opinions about it. And then the law that was passed. Oh God, I forget what state it is. Is it Nebraska? That was Nebraska. I can't think of it now. Given
Kansas?
in Kansas, thank you. It was in
Yeah.
Kansas. Where the state extended the 22 weeks of the right for abortion for women. And then the ability for women, the federal mandate for women to travel into Kansas without repercussions from other states, was inspiring for a lot of people. And again, it brings up, for many, just feelings of the right to choose, of freedom that should be innate, that's been given. But it also brings up the issues of, from the way that Debbie brings it in and from clients that she's worked with, is that there's more involved than what's on the surface. There's this position that really honors the dignity of the woman. But in your experience, Debbie, what else has come through? What else has been brought into awareness that's really looking for its voice as well?
So this is a controversial subject, but I guess I'll share from my perspective as a healer on the recovery end. So people who maybe made this choice 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and the healing energy that's needed later on. And I think a lot of times women, when they're scared or afraid, they're trying to make a fast decision, and a lot of times they're not, usually very young, and not making things very quick for them, and later on going, wait a second, what happened here? And I deal with that. I'm sure a lot of you other healers deal with that as well with women. However, no one has spoke about the repercussions for the men. And it comes up 30 years later, 20 years later, men who were, their partner made the choice, the free choice to, take care of whatever they felt was right at the time. And not all the men got to say what they, it was up to the woman, basically up to the woman. And I just see the latter process. I'm seeing the 20 years later, the 30 years later. And I just want to bring up, no one's speaking of the men and the pain and the repercussions. So I wanted to bring that up today because it is a big piece of healing. We always reflect later on, like about what's bothering us on a soul level. Angels work with the soul.
I think it's beautiful that you brought it up. And again, before we got into pre-call, I was into the awareness of the separation that happens sometimes in sovereign choice. And what's happening in that, the separation is creating a tear. The separation creates a tear because of a sovereign decision. And of course, there's different circumstances, and we're just speaking into the middle of it rather than into the extremes for clarity's sake. And anywhere where we make decisions in separation, we carry the pain and the guilt and the shame of that separation in different ways. And as for women, that could be something that you're carrying unconsciously also. It's the separation from the patriarchy and the why behind it. It's the claiming your power, but in a way that was very much what you're trying to separate from, by force, by will, by not asking, not having consent for the men. And so it brings up, where is that balance taking place? Where can we go back if those decisions have been made? And again, Debbie, you said you're dealing with this with clients that are coming up 20, 30 years later. It's like, hold on a second, there's still a wound here. And again, to have awareness about that and to have compassion and know how we can come in and we can actually heal, even though that situation may not be there. We can actually still heal on the etheric and the spiritual level and bring back, if you will, do soul recovery for not only for ourselves, but for the other people involved as well. So it's quite an interesting subject, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's overlooked. Because anywhere we're creating separation with others, that separation continues within ourselves. It's a direct mirror. It would happen. And so compassion and understanding and in the win of these rights, beautiful. Anywhere where rights are being taken away and they are being forced upon us for different reasons is always a good place to start questioning. And to see what's true within ourselves. So yeah, I can't imagine I haven't had to face that situation, but I can't imagine as a man, the hole that would probably leave in me, whether I was aware of it or not. But I know, as I've done so much healing, that would come up somehow. That I would feel like women, it's like, oh, well, I can feel my baby up there. I can still feel the connection, even though he didn't come to term. I know that I would feel the essence of that child that wanted to come through me. When my daughters were born, I felt them coming in before they came in. I knew they were knocking on the door before my ex-wife and I decided to start having a child and the physical aspect of it. And I just bring that awareness in for women and for men about the knowingness. And this gets into our intuition also that we want to talk about. Knowingness, you just know. And how do you know? And this goes into this topic of abortion, into the topic of men, into the topic of unity consciousness, but also how we process information. So in a more general way, Debbie, and no, let's make this the Debbie show because I'm talking a lot. Tell us about how you understand that we're processing information and the signals that we receive and how we can attune more precisely with it so that we can use it more consciously in our decision and our experiences.
John, the first place our intuition kind of hits, we get a hit. We're not aware in our mind we're even getting it. We feel it in our body. We start to feel anxious or nauseous or weird, and we don't know why. And then the senses start to kind of process it. First the physical body, then the senses, and then the mind is the last thing. So understanding what we're feeling intuitive about is last. So yeah, so a good way to know something is, I'm trying to get information, is a sudden change in how you feel. That there might be intuition activated in that moment. The third eye's working, but the body gets it first, then the senses, then the mind.
Well, and that's so aligned with the physiology of our bodies. I mean, they say that when we touch a hot stove, our body feels and the signal doesn't happen until a split of whatever fraction of a second afterwards.
That makes sense.
And so why would it be any different for that intuition? And it really goes into, for me, this awakening of consciousness that we're going through, our ability to be even more empathic than we ever have been, how we're feeling more. We've been more exposed. The world has been more exposed to feeling more, not to numb out. And in the not numbing out, there's more and more people waking up to their intuition, their gut instincts, their psychic capacities to being able to channel. When I was growing up, there weren't all these channels and psychics and all these people that I was aware of running around the world like they are now. It's been like proliferation of it all over the place, truly. And so what does that tell us? What does that tell us? And to be able to tune into our body and honor the body in that way and having that awareness is huge, Debbie.
Yeah.
How can we tune more into our bodies? What is it that that you're aware of that would help us be more sensitive to our physicality, that would help us with interpreting the information that's coming in from the etheric?
Recognizing a shift when you're around a certain person, in a certain place, on a certain phone call, that something in the body changed.
Hmm.
If you can just recognize the physical change, and you could even see a pattern. Every time I go to Target, I feel sick to my stomach. Put together the patterns. Angels also communicate through repeating or patterns. Or every time I talk to this person, I get anxiety. So there's a lot to be said with how your body's feeling, where you are, who you're around, with the intuitions trying to tell you something.
I love that. I love that. I know I had experiences in my 20s. I had an office job working the corporate thing, trying to do the corporate ladder thing, and my stomach would, every Sunday night, my stomach would start acting up. It would just like, I would dread. And I thought it was me. I thought it was something within me, and it's like, and it just got to the point where I couldn't tolerate anymore. And when I left, that went away. But when I looked back upon it, I realized the toxic environment that I was in.
Yeah.
But it wasn't upon looking back that I really realized how toxic it was, and my body was signaling to me. But I didn't know at the time how to pay attention to it in that way until I just couldn't stand it anymore. And I had to just completely blow out of there. And so that's an extreme example. How does it show up in more subtle ways?
Well, I love that your body was telling you, get the heck out of there. Well, more subtle ways would be effects on the immune system, like, you're constantly not feeling well or not feeling right physically. Like, how am I getting sick again? Or how am I fatigued? Those are more subtle. They're not as extreme, but God, I'm always exhausted. Something is taking your energy, your intuition, your body's reading some kind of energy pool that's not good for you if you're exhausted. If you're in a relationship and you're exhausted, very big sign that there might be, an energy imbalance, or it might not be healthy for you.
What happens when our body is feeling so much and we get caught up in collective energies, and our body's speaking to us in particular ways, and it's really more about what we would interpret as happening collectively, or we're so sensitive, or we're empathic? And is that true? And then how do we go about switching gears with it, if that is the case? Or is it more of having to look at another aspect of it that you might be familiar with?
Okay, so the empath thing is very intense, especially the more sensitive you are, the more you're going to feel everything. And I know a lot of people the past couple of weeks have been feeling the world. And the more empathic you are, the more you're going to feel. One of my favorite things to do is I ask angels to remove what's not mine, so I can just sit with my own energy and for a moment get a relief. And that could be something anyone can say. Angels, remove what's not mine, and then just go, okay, maybe I can breathe right now. And in that next moment, okay, then what was I feeling? And see what comes first thought in your mind, like, who was that? What was that? But getting the relief or getting it off of your energy field for just even short moment would help give clarity of what's going on energetically around you. Or it's like a psychic reading of what's going on around you. Your body's like, you feel it. Again, you're feeling empathically a lot of times in the body.
Right. Yeah, fascinating what comes through. And again, discerning and learning how to attune to our body and supporting our body also. Again, if we're numbing out with food, if we're numbing out with TV, if if we're shutting down our body in a way that we realize doesn't allow for a good relationship with it, it's I think really one of the first things that we can do is start asking, hey, is this good for me? How is this hurting me? How can I show up for my
Mm,
body in different ways, and creating a relationship that is honoring in the way that you want to be honored from the outside world through your experiences that we're creating.
yeah, yeah.
And so our body can be a beautiful mirror for also for how we're receiving from others and what we're doing with that information. So again, the awareness of the body is huge. And again, the guidance in the intuition is again, as processed through the body first and then through the emotions or then through the mind. So is what you're speaking about. Just so wonderful.
There's
Man.
layers, all these layers.
Hmm. Debbie, I think we should open up to Q&A. There's so many questions coming in, so
All
many people,
right.
and I know it's going to evolve this conversation um, more so. So I'm going to start promoting a lot of y'all to panelists right now. Oh my God, there's so much that is that's coming in. So let's go to Bridget first. So Bridget writes, wow, my body is so ready to send me a message and I can feel it. I keep saying I'm open to receive, but I'm still not sure.
So I pick up it's in her stomach. I feel like it's in her stomach. So usually stomach, you can look at the chakra, third chakra, confusion, decision making. That's that third chakra, kind of that's what its job is. So if you're going right to your stomach, there's something confusing or something that's not making sense around you. Angels always say if it's confusing, that's a no. Confusing means no, you don't have all your info, stand back, wait a second. That's a lot of time the stomach, like that's not good for me, that's not okay. I'm not feeling clear about this. So it felt like it was in the stomach.
Wonderful. And again, she says she's ready to receive and open. How do we know if we're really open or not? We say we're open, but sometimes we're open and we're kind of like, I'm open if I hear what I want to hear. I don't know.
So you're very true. That's true. There's a surrender. When you're really ready to hear, you got to be willing to hear anything. It's almost like just surrender to, and the soul knows. Talking about the soul and consciousness, the soul knows the right answer. Our mind, our ego might argue it, but the soul always knows. The soul knows everything.
I love that. And for me, it's if I'm sitting with a client or with someone, if I tried, Debbie, if I have an investment in the outcome, if I have an investment in the way that the message is received, it just kind of falls flat. It doesn't come through as clearly or at all. And then my mind's getting in the way. And the same is true when I'm asking for myself.
Yeah.
And so to ask in different times and to even check myself, hey, am I really stepping out to receive what's true for me? Or am I trying to manipulate the information for the outcome I'm choosing to create? Right? Like, should I move to this country is one of the questions that came in. And I'll probably get to your question a little bit so Debbie can read into it. But it's like, if you're already invested and kind of going, and it's like, really, you're asking the question that's like the energy is already going there. You're already opening up a potential thread to ask for a redirection. It's wonderful to have an assurance. And it's wonderful to trust your intuition and your guidance. But if I have to go because love's there, I have to go because if I don't take this job, something's going to happen. If that aspect of it gets in the way, it's a whole different type of receiving information. Unless, of course, there's also guidance that's coming in from the angels, from your guides, that starts giving you, well, watch for this pitfall and watch for that, or be open to this, which can come in different ways also. And so when that comes in, Debbie, how do you discern? How do you kind of structure the way that you're receiving information when someone already has like an invested interest? and the outcome.
Well, if they're doing something out of fear, like if there's this angst in the action, if there's an angst, like I might, if I don't do this, I might not get this. If I don't do this, I might not get this. That's that spinning or angst. It's not, when we're in that mode in our head or in our thinking, we're not hearing angels. So just, if you're in that state, you have to reset, like get quiet, get to the point of not spinning to really hear your angels. But in those moments, you're not hearing them usually.
And I also understand that trying to get a quick answer rather than letting information sit and maybe asking again in a different way or from a different space.
Yep.
From a slowing down is always just so beneficial. And our angels want us to ask. Our guides are open to ask. But I've asked them already, and I don't want to bother them. I've asked my guides, I don't want to see, I don't want to see desperate wherever it is. And y'all laugh, but how many of us have done that sometimes? Like, yeah, it's like I kind of asked. Or some of us, the opposite end. I'm kind of all over the place today, but it's just the energy right now. That we just ask so much and we don't stop asking. What's your awareness of each of those ends of the spectrum, Debbie?
Angels are never tired. All they want to do is help. And they can help millions and billions of people at one time. So you can't over ask. I ask them thousands of times a day, help me with this, help me with this, help me with this. I feel like I wear them out.
They got stamina.
Yeah, you can't wear them out. They're not human.
That's amazing. But it's funny when we keep asking the questions and we know we're tuned in, we get the same answer.
Yeah.
We get the same answer, typically, unless the situations change, which is so interesting. All right, I'm gonna let's go to the next caller because I can just, again, my mind's like in 100 different directions. Jennifer, let's go to you. Welcome to the call.
Hi, thank you. Hi, Debbie. Hi, John.
Hi, Jennifer.
I love this conversation because this is what I teach about, is like those feelings in your body and like really tapping into that, which is why I'm in Austin, Texas right now. I was in Colorado and I kept feeling you to come back. And I did exactly like what y'all were talking about. You know, I was like clearing all of the emotions, setting all of that to the side, and really feeling into what's my highest good. And it led me here. And I got here, you know, Tuesday, and I've just been like so excited and like, yes, this is amazing. I just want to make sure that moving forward from here, because it's almost like by coming here, some doors are opening. And I want to continue, because when I'm in a city like this, because I'm so empathic and sensitive, I pick up on other people's energies, which is why I go back to Colorado to like clear all of that out. I want to make sure that everything that I do is fun and enjoy and also in my highest good. So is there anything coming through?
Yeah, try to ask the angels to remove what's not your own. You know, of course you can go to Colorado and get relief, but try in the moment when you're overwhelmed and see if it just leaves you. It will. If you ask them, it'll go like within moments.
Right.
And I love your process. I love that you were slower with your decision, felt it, you felt into it, because there's a calmness that when we make a decision that I felt that you had. But after we make it, then we get really anxious, like, oh crap. And
now what?
You had. So remember, always go back to the calm you had when you made it. That's your, this was right. I know this was right. I had the calm, and anything anxious that comes up later, it's just fear.
Yeah. Are there any messages as far as, because I am supposed to be going back to like house and cat sit until November, but it almost feels, as much as I made the commitment, I also feel like my life might be put on hold career-wise, love-wise, if I do go back. And so I'm doing my best to stay present and be in the moment. But that's still in the back of my mind.
Let's
Like,
let's see what Debbie brings in. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, when you decided to go home to Colorado and cat sit or house sit, were you calm when you made that decision? Or were you anxious? Where were you when you made that choice? Were you as calm?
I was in fear because I was worried about my.
Bingo.
There you go. A session may be
That's your
great
answer.
to go deeper.
Yeah.
To go deeper, definitely. And I have to chime in, and this is for everybody. This is for all of us, actually. In this space of this empathy, because we want to be in joy, we want to be in love, we want to have fun, right? And we're human. We're going to be in the experience of our emotions. We're going to witness other people in the experience of their emotions, and they're discovering who they be on a very human level, and the repercussions of decisions that had been made before us that we're feeling the effects now. And so the call to be empathic and keep that level of joy and of love within you, and hold it with so much compassion. And this is part of the mastery that we're going in, to hold it with so much compassion that you can keep that vibrational state even in the midst of this as much as you can, or as better than you did before, perhaps, because you've had the experience of the knowledge and your other experiences and your capacity to hold that for others.
Yeah.
And there's a level of service that comes from you being able to hold that for yourself and learning it. And how wonderful that we get to go into these environments where we get to replenish ourselves, that you get to go back to Colorado. I get to go back to Hawaii. That Hawaii is that for me.
Yeah.
I also get to go on the show and have these conversations, which is this for me and different. Monday, I was like in anxious mode. There's so much going on. There's like a lot of energy. And I got on my membership call. Everything just like, and so find those places of oasis that you don't have to travel 5 hours and pack everything, and kind of can be wonderful, And it's great that you have the opportunity to do that. And blessings to you, and definitely keep manifesting from that abundance and teaching what else is possible for other people. But y'all, just finding an environment to support that nurturance and being in vibrational accord to remind you, to get you back to feeling the truth, the integrity of the intelligence of your body. Like Debbie was talking about earlier, it's powerful. And I feel that we're stepping into that more and more, as empathic as we are. I love what you brought in, Jennifer, because I wanted to share that with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. I so appreciate you.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's Debbie. Everybody wants you to get on here. I'm talking a lot. Can y'all do me a favor? And I'm asking for me, but I'm asking for us on the call also. Can you just close your eyes and take a deep breath? Just slow down a little bit. Just slow down just a second. Tune into our bodies. Let everything and everyone else go. Bring yourself home to you now. Thank this body for its vitality and its intelligence. And come back to us now. Thank you. I can feel the difference in that. So thank you for what you sent to me in that, but I can feel it on the call also. Wow. Michelle M., let's get you to unmute, please.
John, hi Debbie, thanks so much.
Hi Michelle. Hi.
I needed that breath. Thank you.
I did too.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, well, I have been a bit all over the place for a while. I feel like I have this higher calling. I feel it and I don't know what it is. And I'm always, angels and spirit guides. I do a lot of meditation and I don't know if they're there. It's me? I don't, how do you tell? I ask for signs. I kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to tell if they're there. If they are, who are they?
So Michelle, pay attention to what's repeating, like the same thing that comes out of, the television. You hear it from a friend. You also heard it again when you looked at a magazine. Like, what are the things that are repeating, or what's repeating in your consciousness? Angels are persistent. They don't want you to miss the message, even in songs. If you can weed out the ones that keep repeating, if it doesn't keep repeating, it usually isn't angels. It's just in momentary fear or momentary, our mind running. But it's the quiet voice under everything else. Does that make sense or help?
It does. And I'm trying to think if I had anything repeating. I mean, it's interesting when I ask for signs, I'll get something, but I don't know what it means. I guess I'm asking for confirmation and then, like.
And then you get it.
I do, but it's like, is that, you know what I mean? Like, I've had this interesting thing where I had asked for confirmation and then I was at my son's baseball game and an eagle flew over. And so the next day I was listening to a sermon and he talked about the eagle. And then the next day was another one and they talked a totally different person. And I was like, what's this mean? Okay, so there's an eagle. What does this mean?
I love it. I love it. That is what I'm talking about. It repeated like 3 days in a row, it seems like boom, boom, boom. So look for that. If things repeat in like angel numbers, which is like a 3, that's 1, 2, 3 in a row. Also, look up the shamanic meaning of an animal that you keep seeing or keep hearing about. The shamanic meaning of eagle is third eye psychic. Eagles see far ahead.
Oh. Oh.
So you are getting information.
I need to go deeper. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just like waiting for this voice in my head to go, okay, here's what you need to do.
I love that.
Sometimes it's like that, but other times it's like charades. Trust me, I know.
Oh,
That's wonderful, Michelle. Thank you so much. Thanks for calling in. And a beautiful practice also to be able to listen and to the guidance and to be able to ground it in. It's like we see it, but it's like, oh, it's like, okay, equal, cool. It's trying to tell me, I don't know. Where do you all start focusing? And again, this is a practice for me also. Instead of what you're not getting, what you're not receiving, what's so confusing, what if you just did a 5-minute practice on a daily basis and you focus on what is going right? What if you focused on the messages that you are getting and taken action on? What if you focus on the joy that you've had, if it was for 30 seconds of your day or the whole day? And bring your attention to that. And as that, we kind of loosen up, give the mind something else to do. We find that the angels or our guides communicate to us through dreams, through synchronicities, through something that you Google, and it's like all of a sudden there's a message, or the message from the eagle, all of a sudden it's like it lands. Right? So we just give our mind that little bit of a break. Go get a foot massage or go for a run, distract the mind from trying to, we are trying to figure out so much. And then we're listening to people on TV trying to figure out so much and telling us what they figured out so that we can figure out, even though they don't have it. Right? It's like,
True.
And so they put us into their confusion, then becomes our confusion. It's like, what the heck? It's like, there's eagle and there's your guide and there's your body informing you. Just allow, just open. How do we open to receive? It's through practices like that. It's through practices like that. Go ahead, Debbie.
John, you have a really good point. Like everyone's trying to figure it out. I'm going to make it easy for you guys.
Love it.
Angels are simple. They are so simple.
Wonderful. Take a breath into that one, y'all. Right? It's like, yeah, it feels so good. All right, so I have a question that comes in from Sarah. Sarah, thanks for writing in. Sarah writes, I have a sad anxiety so much of the time, even though I connect and do my grounding work every day. I'm often dizzy and exhausted. I so need guidance from the angels.
First thing I hear, Sarah, is to you need to clear yourself daily, maybe more than one time a day, of what's not yours. You definitely empath and holding a lot of energy. And even though you're grounding, you can still take on a lot of energy. Angels, release what's not mine. Angels, release what's not mine. You might have to do that several times a day. But you feel a lot externally. The other thing I heard was there may be something in the blood that's a little low, not extreme low, but when I see that, I just recommend getting a blood panel or checking your blood and seeing if you're low in a nutrient or some type of hormone low. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, there you go, Sarah. All right. So Mandy P writes, hi, Debbie. My husband and I have been trying to have kids for a while now, wondering what the angels have to say, or if it's even in my highest path to have children.
Oh, she's having a baby. I see a blonde little boy, so he's coming. With desire, like when we desire something, she's desiring a child. I find this, if we start like really wanting it, we actually put this fear block, like this energy block on it. It's almost like when we don't care, it comes flying at us. So it's funny how the energy can change when we really want something, and then we don't care. Whatever we don't care about is coming at us. What we really want is going away. So just think about that energetically, maybe reversing the energy, like letting it go if you can. It's hard though when you want something. He's coming.
There you go.
Cutie pie.
Oh, so sweet. Someone wrote about, okay, letting go of the need to know that, how do we free our mind again? And as part of it, you don't even have to recognize that you're holding on to it. Just unoccupy your mind. I'm just telling you that you don't need to process what you're doing wrong. That's just another process. Just like go
so true.
yourself with something else. Y'all, like Debbie said, it's simple. This whole figuring out thing is like, it's eating us up. It's depleting our body's capacity because we have it busy doing other things. It's frying our nervous system, and we're aware that it's doing. If it's not simple, if our body's in anxiety or in fear, what can you do to nourish your body and hold it and have compassion for it without needing to explain what's happening? Debbie, we don't tell our 5-year-old why he's having anxiety, which is we hold him. Right?
Thank you. Yeah. Simple. Two things that are really easy to do when you're spinning. Simply closing your eyes stops your mind, just even for a moment. And also walking one foot in front of the other actually neurologically stops the brain a little bit. These are two things that are like very scientific, and look them up, that actually stop the brain. They can help you.
So I'm going to share something with you, and I haven't introduced this aspect of my life onto the show, in this way. But I want to present it also because it's how you tune into different energies in your readings. And y'all, we're going to get into a special offer, which includes 45 minutes with Debbie, but also the transmissions. Is there music in there also, Debbie? Are you doing some of the music transmissions?
Oh yeah, there's music in there. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's
Always.
it's on the angelic playing with the angels. It's amazing. And the transmissions are amazing. We'll get into the special offer in a little bit. Another way to tune in, Debbie, I haven't shown you, but tell me what you think of this being and what's coming in for him.
Oh my God.
That's my grandson, y'all. He's 6 months old today. And
He
he's here.
feels like pure joy. Joy.
Yeah. What else do you feel for him? I'm curious. Or for us.
Honestly, John, I just feel like he's going to be all heart. He is literally, this baby is like heart, his heart forward.
Mm-hmm.
Hugger, affectionate, love. He knows love more than anything. Yeah, he's gonna need a lot of love too.
Yeah. Well, he's getting a lot of love and he's giving a lot of love. And I bring him on, y'all, because again, it's so simple. And thank you for that reading. And it's so spot on. And I share with my daughters and my partners, like, look at this being. He does nothing to pretend he's giving love or to receive love. He just bees. I receive so much love from him, and he's just like gooing and goggling and cries when he needs something, and it's fussy when he needs to go to bed, and he laughs sometimes, and other times he doesn't, and it's just, and he's a diaper change, which I haven't done yet, but I'm sure eventually that'll happen. If y'all need a diaper change, know that you can be loved at the same time. Really, it's so simple, Debbie. And I bring him in also because how do we earn love? How do we get to that? How do we know ourselves? It's like this being knows himself in a way that the most organic, the most simplistic, the most intelligent way that I think is truly possible.
I love that. That's a great way to see no mind.
Yeah.
Just being a baby.
All his needs are being taken care of. Amazing. I made it about me again, y'all. Okay, let me take some more live calls. All right, Joy, let's go to you. Welcome to the call. And thank everybody. Yes, so beautiful.
Right. I've unmuted.
Hi, welcome.
Okay. So, big question. I had an Akashic reading, and I don't know how you folks think about it, but I had a shocker because I've lived over 2,500 lives, and I feel like I'm still trying to figure things out.
So freaking cute.
Then,
oh my God.
and
Right?
And I get that you just have to be, you just give love and you just receive it. But my last thing that's left for me to do was forgiveness. So angels, help me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I want to forgive.
You did the right thing, asking them to help when we don't know how. The angels will help you. I don't know how. They'll just help you. That's amazing.
Okay.
Just in that right there. Just in that reaction, Joy. It's happening. How wonderful. Debbie, I just love this because in the not carrying away that you have to forgive, it's like you're allowing to go in deeply and penetrate deeply through this that's rising up through your tears. It's like you don't even know how profound. what you're carrying in your heart right now is. It's remarkable. You're doing it. What were we going to say, Debbie? Please.
Well, I was gonna say, we don't, you know, we don't know sometimes how to forgive, even though that we're told, yes, you need to forgive, you need to do this. But again, when we've experienced trauma and memories, and it's very difficult to figure out how.
Yep.
And be genuine. So the best way is, unless it's genuine, angels, help me do this, and then release it and let it go. And again, don't figure it out. See what happens.
Okay.
Beautiful. Debbie, I think what also happens in the forgiveness process is that we hold on to other people's interpretation of how we have to hold on to something. Oh,
Yeah.
they treated you wrong. You should be angry. You should do boundaries. Oh, you were abused in this way. Let me protect you. Let me take that on. I'm angry at them. I'm not going to hold it. Or this other thing happened. They betrayed you, or this other thing. And it's like, no, you need to be angry. Don't allow anybody else like that in your life again, and really be like, fight against it and all that. And then we get into our forgiveness process and we forget that we're holding on to the interpretations of other people's boundaries that they're projecting onto us.
Okay. Absolutely.
So Joy, whose anger are you holding on to that's not yours?
My husband.
And whose
I know it.
Yeah, but it's okay. So you need to forgive your husband, perhaps, or maybe, or is he the one that's holding that space for you that you shouldn't forgive? Because what happened was so inexplicably horrific that how can you forgive that person?
I think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So allow him to have his process, but allow you.
So the best way to do that for me would be to not be in his space.
The best way for you to do that is just what you did a few minutes ago, with your intention of that and you releasing it. You didn't even know. You did it so naturally and beautifully, and that your body knew, which is what we talked about earlier, right? Right, Debbie?
Yeah, and trust the next intuitive indication that you get of what to do next. Until you get it, don't really make a decision on what to do next. You'll get an intuition.
Okay.
Beautiful.
I've waited.
2,500 lifetimes.
That's a lot of lifetimes.
Oh my goodness.
Blessings, Joy.
Thank you.
Go
Thank you
deeper
so
with
much.
Debbie. Let's go into the special offer. We're gonna take a lot more calls, y'all. April, put the special offer link in the chat box, please, or y'all open up a new browser window and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Debbie28. And it'll take you to that same page. And Debbie, 45 minutes with you, Joy, I highly recommend it. And the transmissions, the opening up, the harmonics that are available. What y'all have here with Debbie is truly a special offer. So I'm actually going to share my screen, Debbie, as you go through this.
Sure.
I can highlight along the way. So let me find the little screen sharing thing. Hey, I fumbled through Zoom also. I just want to let y'all know. So don't it's not just you. I do this every day. Here we go. All right, Debbie. So an angelic reading, $147, 2-payment option. Tell us what everybody's going to be able to participate in.
So this goes by, it feels like it's 5 minutes long, but it's 45 minutes where we'll tap in with the angels and loved ones and see what they want to tell you. And a lot of times it's what your soul really needs to talk about, maybe not your list of questions. That can be addressed too, but it's pretty interesting how the loved ones in heaven or the angels go right to the heart of a matter that we might be like not quite addressing yet. And also a lot of beautiful messages from loved ones. That's one of my favorite parts of this work, is just watching what happens when they deliver certain messages, and a lot of healing happens.
How do you use Reiki on a reading? That's so interesting.
So, well, Reiki, I'll use, of course, if someone, is open to it. I don't apply it unless I feel like it's needed, or ask the person if they're open to it. But the angels give a healing, John, that's otherworldly, that isn't even Reiki. They're doing stuff while we're on the call that I can only see it and kind of explain it, but I'll add Reiki in if I feel like this would really help them in this moment. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's wonderful. So again, the special offering includes a 45-minute reading with Debbie, which is amazing. And then we get into more tools that you provide for us. So item 2, drawing in your soulmate. Tell us more.
Oh, this is a big question I get a lot. Soulmate, it's a big deal. And so this helps us grow or get through something that we need to overcome spiritually to attract or bring in or heal a soulmate relationship. And again, this is guided meditation with intuition comes in as you're being guided through the meditation. Oh, maybe if I work on that, it might help this relationship I'm in. It can be used different times, different ways, different people, different soulmates. But it helps you overcome what might be on your end. Not they, what they need to do, but what do you have to do to heal your end?
This is so interesting, because this actually also takes me into an aspect of forgiveness as well, that comes in, that allows us to clear energy with current soulmates or a soulmate that wants to come in. So as we get into what do I need to do for forgiveness, what is it that steps in? Again, this heart expansion, again, this heart opening really serves to allow that flow of that intelligence to really be integrated and embodied. Wow.
Yeah, it's intense, and it's very healing, and I find that old souls, speaking of joy, old souls who've had many lifetimes, they have a lot of soulmates in one lifetime sometimes. So the more old of a soul you are, the more you probably need this one.
I'm going to listen. Okay. Y'all laugh. It's kind of funny. But anyway.
True.
All right. Then we get into the healing frequencies, the deep soul memory activation. This is interesting.
Okay. So this frequency is, it happened. The reason I even did this MP3 is because I was listening to the frequency and I had a deep memory, like from like another lifetime, and remembering. So I was like, this is going to help people remember stuff that's been dormant in their soul, that the soul's ready to hear. So this kind of helps activate maybe some dormant knowledge, wisdom, guidance, that maybe from another lifetime that we haven't quite remembered, or kind of help assisting us in this lifetime.
And again, simply by listening, I love this, simply by listening to the healing frequencies, deep soul knowledge that has been dormant is activated. And y'all, I've been in frequency experiences and in sleep states, or in breathing techniques, or even just around someone in my readings with Debbie, where there's like a soul recovery takes place, like just like something just clicks. It's like, oh, you just know that's yours forever. It's like back, but it's like a feeling of coming home and remembering, like the light flips off. So that's amazing. So we have those two plus the reading. Y'all, it's $147. There's a 2 payment option. It's valued at $350. And we have the privilege of offering this to y'all here on BTO. So I hope you all take advantage of it. save me a spot if y'all are booking. I haven't been able to get to the calendar yet because I'm on the call. But take advantage of this, because again, Debbie's ability to go in and read. Our last reading, what you read in and what was happening in these moving, going different places, kind of it's been so spot on. And leading into September, I'm like, Debbie said in September this, it's like, and it's kind of rolling that way. So it's been quite interesting to remember it, and the enthusiasm that you had for me as well, what was coming through, and how on point it has been. So thank you for that reading. And y'all, again, I cannot recommend a session with Debbie enough, and the transmissions and the activations and her capacity to attune from very many different places. Again, the link for the special offer is in the chat box. April, if you wouldn't mind, type it in there again. Or open up a new browser and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Debbie28. It'll take you to that same page. All right, let's open up now to some more callers here. Let's have fun. Or whatever's coming. If it's heavy, we're open to that as well. Marcia, let's go to you. Welcome to the call.
Thank you. Hi, John. Hi, Debbie.
It's good to see
Marcia.
Debbie, we've worked before, and when I raised my hand, I thought I was going to ask a health question on my behalf, but while waiting, I have changed that to ask for some guidance for my son. He's 36, and he was put on a leave of absence in January by Hawaiian Airlines because he refused to get vaccinated. And they're the only airline that have not called pilots and crews back yet. So he took a temporary job, and he resigned from that last Friday, gave 2 weeks notice, but he went in Monday and ended up with a bad case of gout, which he said to me was his body telling him, get out of there. He's pretty intuitive that way.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if you have any guidance for him for what may be coming up. I don't know, even if Hawaiian calls back their unvaccinated pilots, he may choose not to go back to that particular airline because it feels like such a breach of trust to him for what happened. But I don't know. We talked this morning. The gout had happened. He'd resigned from the temporary thing. Just wonder if you're getting anything on Joe's behalf.
Well, I don't know if it's Hawaiian, but he's got a job opportunity around the corner. And I saw the number 8. 8 is abundance, and it also means August. So he's got another opportunity this month. And I think it's more money. I don't pick up Hawaiian though. So
well, it's
it
funny.
Could be private.
Well, so you said around the corner.
Yeah.
There is an airline in Vegas that flies all the government workers in and out of Area 51. Nobody can drive, So
Yeah.
and he was approached, and it literally would mean a 10-minute drive to the airport.
Around the corner.
Kind of.
Wow.
And up and down, more like a taxi service. It's, he's used to worldwide flying the big iron, and this would be 737s flying locally, but he'd be home every night. And it's a short trip. He hasn't applied yet, but someone came in the job that he just resigned from and talked to him about it. Let's put it that way.
Well, it's financially a good move for him. I do see that it's more money, and yeah, it's something worth checking out.
Okay.
An invitation for all of us. Again, I'm speaking collectively now, and Marcia, thanks for bringing this in. When something happens that seems like something's been taken away, how can we open up our field, which we've been training in? If y'all have been listening to this show, listen to any spiritual work, or just living your life in different ways, knowing that there's something coming, but you don't quite know what it is, but it feels most positive. It just does, even though there's other things that may be happening in between. when something like that happens, instead of going into something's wrong, or I don't know, or it's like, it's going to be something like this or better. It's going to be like this or better. And we start feeding the better. And look what's showing up, just as like, there's opportunities. Look, it looks like an 8, which is abundance. It looks like it might be around the corner. Like the signs are there, and we're being shown through these signs.
Mm-hmm.
And the guides are showing us the collective through the experience of your son, through my experience of moving to a different city, through Debbie's experience of exploring her music and opening up to new places where it can expand into. We are living mirrors of the potentials that are awakening in all of us, and that it's this or something better. We're stepping into this or something better. And if we can hold that curiosity and hold that energy, rather than compressing energy, not that the compressing energy is always bad, but come back, it's like, ask the guys, okay, show me the better. What else is possible? And
I think he has actually done that. He's had a lifetime up to 36 of abundance, and they're always just being something. So he has a trust. That is what I'm hearing you talk about, is trust. You know,
I'd say it's knowing. It's beyond trust.
Yeah, it's knowing. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Beautiful, Marcia. Thank you. Okay, let's go to our
Love
next caller. Data or Dada? I apologize. Let me know which one it is and what's your question.
Dada. That's good,
Dada.
Joan. Oh my goodness, that's beautiful to listen to the call. Thank you so much. I'm impressed. Everybody's moving, and I have to say, I moved so many times. And my question is, we're trying to sell the home, and I keep asking angels for help. I don't seem to be getting any messages. And I'm starting to wonder if I am somehow blocking the sale in some way. And I would love if Debbie can take a look and see what's happening.
Hi, Donna.
Hi, Debbie.
Do you have did someone recently pass that, did you have a loved one recently pass the past couple years, or your husband, or?
No.
There's someone in heaven that's blocking the sale.
Oh, would
They're saying mom. They're saying mom.
grandmother passed away in 2010, and she lived in the house.
Bingo.
Oh,
Mom. She's saying the word mom. She's still attached to the house. You're gonna have to tell her yourself. I'm picking her up because she's with you. I sensed her. I was like, you've got a force beyond in heaven not wanting you to let this house go, because it meant a lot to her.
wow. Yes, it did, for sure.
So she thinks you're making a mistake. That's her opinion. But if you want to talk to her and just in your heart tell her, this is the plan. I know you love the house, and ask her to help, draw like a bridge from your heart to her heart, and you'll start to feel, even if just acknowledging that she's there, you'll start to feel an energy. You'll feel her. But she's hurt. She's hurt that you want to sell it.
Well, I'm actually being forced because there is an issue from the neighborhood, very bad one. We have a drug lab not far from us, and it's affecting my health. So it's not a choice I'm making easily. And I would imagine she would know, because interestingly enough, my grandfather also passed away, and I have had a reading with him coming through recently. And he himself sent a message to us that the place is no longer what it used to be. And I felt really, really torn apart from wanting to sell the place, but I'm actually feeling to be forced out. I just don't want to live there anymore. The neighbors are really, really bad. It's no point. We've been there for 45 years. And when I came home last year, it was a suffering. And I had no idea what they're cooking, but the whole area smells from chemicals. It's dangerous.
It sounds like it
Ask-
sounds like no data, right?
Sorry?
We're gonna say, Debbie?
Ask her to help you with the situation. It might not be that selling it is the answer. She might be able to help with that situation. They can help.
Have a reading, Dada. Call,
Yeah.
get a special offer if you want to go deeper with Debbie on this. And if you feel like you're left in kind of in limbo right now, before you even book the session, as Debbie's saying, keep communicating with your grandmother and ask for the signs, and give yourself the time for the messages to come through. Again, it'll be simple, like Debbie is saying. You'll feel it. There'll be a flow to it rather than a resistance, and you'll just know. You'll just know. But again, keep asking. Great suggestion, Debbie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue here. Let's go now to Drew Peterson. Welcome to the call.
Hello. Hi, John. Hi, Debbie. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Drew.
So blessed to have you. And I resonated with your Southern Baptist background, because that's where I am. And here we are in this new spiritual realm, right?
Right.
I'm actually calling because I didn't know that this was going to happen today, about your past loved ones. And my father passed away last February. I had the honor of being with him in the last 24 hours. And honestly, it was the closest I've ever been with him. It was such a blessing. He was trying to communicate something to me. We were very peaceful. He lived a blessed 91 years. So, but as the youngest of three sons, I was sort of the one that was always trying to connect with my divine masculinity. And my other brothers were into sports and, the rah-rah kind of guy thing. But I had a sensitivity about him and which we didn't resonate. And I thought I'd ask you if you have any message from him in that higher place that might give me peace, or just something that might be attuned to this change today in the world. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Your father sees you all the same. Right now, from heaven, you all look the same to him. He loves you all the same, he says. He's talking about the kids. There's nothing different. Like, there's no variation, nothing different on how he feels about each. It's identical. He's coming from these eyes where it's all identical. He also talks about being in the military. Was he a military guy?
He actually taught engineering in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So he was a very left brain. I was very much a right brain. So it's a good balance.
But from a soul, he is very different. You are different. And the military kind of structured a lot of the way he thinks, I think. He's, talking about that. But from heaven, he looks at all of you like these you're glowing. Each child is just glowing to him. And it's like radiating love. All he sees is how much you guys radiate love.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He doesn't see different.
Drew,
Awesome.
What's your pain?
I'm sorry, what is that, John?
What's your pain?
My pain?
Your pain, Pain, yes, your pain.
I think the pain is, growing up, in a Southern town. I'm clearly very sensitive and empathic, and I'm living in a world that's a lot of, I won't use the term toxic people to judge them, a lot of drivers where I work and live. So, and it comes to just the masculine and the feminine side. I've not been close and had really strong masculine relationships or friends. And I think that, resonating with even you, John, with the sensitivity in these kind of shows is unique to me. But that's sort of like my pain. It's like I nourish that. I love the hearings and these teachings, but that feels missing. I want to be at peace with myself.
Debbie, can I answer this for a second and then have
Yeah,
you the
yeah.
guidance in the wedding? So Drew, for me, and what I received from, as I was hearing your dad as you were talking and you and Debbie were talking, and the message that I was getting, and I can very much relate to this, again, being very empathic, very sensitive, carrying a lot of feminine energy, even though I'm masculine at the same time. But the feminine is what's led so many, nurturing, taking care of others, being very kind of loving in that way. And the message I kept hearing from your father is, do not be afraid to lean in more to your masculine side. You're not going to become who I was, or the fear of the control of what that is. Do not be afraid. Let that part of you come through. You will not harm anybody in it. It's okay. There's an embracing that's coming through for you. That won't change who you are, but will enhance your love and empathy in ways that you never even can believe that you have.
Wow, thank you so much. And the idea of the military and his left brain and I heard that that voice, and the idea of being, love is love. There's no judgment. So I think this was a really important message to hear. Thank you.
As a masculine, it's hard because I grew up not trusting the masculine either. As a man, I understand women not trusting the masculine. I get it from my own perspective.
And that's why I picked up earlier about the masculine energy. And that resonated with me at the beginning of the call too. So thank you for taking my call. And Debbie, thank you for your gift.
Thank you, Drew.
Debbie, what comes up for you around that?
Well, I think his dad was just trying to, kind of explain why he might have felt different, but he really loved them all the same. It just, he didn't maybe know how to handle him. His dad didn't have the knowledge to handle.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
He only had military knowledge.
There you go. That's so spot on. Oh my goodness. Drew, hopefully that'll set something in your heart free.
It does. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love this. All right, Michelle has her reading scheduled with you. Awesome. So good. She wants to know if there's anything that she should do to best prepare for the reading with you.
I'll share something, Michelle. The moment you book a session, the angels start working on you because they see that you're open to healing or whatever. So pay attention to any dreams that start to happen or things that come in your intuition to ask about, but they've already start working on you the moment you decide to be open to working with them.
Oh, beautiful. All right, y'all. April, do me a favor, put the link for the special offer in the chat box again. And again, to get into the special offer, 45 minutes with Debbie, which is going to be extraordinary. I'm so excited for you guys that participate. I'm excited for me in my session. But you also get the Drawing in Your Soulmate, the guided meditation with the angels. And again, you're receiving that heart opening. That heart opening it connects you with the essence of that, but so much more. There's just I love this. And then the angelic healing frequencies, the deep soul memory activation. And again, by listening to the healing frequencies, that deep soul knowledge that's been dormant is activated. And the way Debbie brings it in, it's just the purity of love and the consciousness of that streams through. So again, y'all take advantage of it. It's $147. It's typically $350 for the value. 2 payment options. Did I say that already? I don't know, but there's a 2 payment option. And you're able to book the sessions rather quickly because Debbie really opened up her calendars for here on BTO. So I hope you take advantage of that. The replay, we're going to run replays. We always do. You can find the replays. We'll send out an email for that. You can go to the website, go to the very bottom of beyondtheordinaryshow.com. You'll see the replays link, or type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. Super easy. Okay. Jess, I want to take you as a caller. You had your halo on your head the whole time. And I'm like, how are you doing? I want one.
I put that on just for you guys because I wasn't going to get on this call. And I just felt like I had to get on this call. And then the synchronicities are so vast and bizarre. I can't even tell you. So we're talking about babies, and I feel like I have to ask you some specific questions. I don't want to set them up too much because they're kind of esoteric. So part one is like, was the divine birth information that I channeled and received in June also for me, like literally on an individual level, the way that I took it, not just for the collective and with specific regard to who I am supposed to birth here. And part two is the other party, the other parent who I think it is. That's my question.
So angels say you already know that was for you and the collective. They say you already know that in your soul.
Yeah.
Now, as far as question 2, they say if you want them to be. So
Okay.
maybe get a little clearer if that, are you sure that that's who you want? That's what I felt.
Okay. Thank you.
Does that help?
Dang.
Yeah, so the information is specific to some very old rites, and I guess the question is about whether that person is of the lineage, is of the appropriate lineage. It's about like these Celtic lineages. And so I guess that's the question is the person who I think I will have these children with the person that is my soulmate from these other past lives, that is from these same Celtic lineages. Does that make sense?
They're answering it the same way.
The same way. So I already know the answer, basically, is what they're saying. I'm sorry to waste everyone's time with like, trust yourself. Sorry, guys.
You're not wasting
That was
time.
my question.
Not at all. No waste. This is great. This was great.
And I guess since you got me, I really appreciate that you guys are bringing up the conversation that you did at the beginning, because I had, when I was younger, before I healed my spine 36 degrees in my body and now have like perfect reproductive health, which I never had. I had 3 miscarriages when I was younger. And my pilot father, Joe, told my whole family I must have had an abortion. But I believe that I psychically interfered with some of those pregnancies because they were karmic instead of like of the highest incarnation and connection. And I love the connection. I love the connection to that part of the conversation you guys were having at the beginning. I think that's really important. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And I have to tell you, Jess, and again, all of us on this call, I have knowings that come in a lot, and I'll reach out to Debbie. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? And sometimes I'll pay for the session. Sometimes I'll ask as a friend, and she's generous with it. And I have other friends that do that with me also, and they know they're psychics, they're channels. They've been on the show. It's like you know that, and some of them aren't, but they're very well connected as well. And it's not about, oh, I should know better. It's like, no, there's support. And you can't ask enough, and the support shows up in so many different ways.
I think it has to do with what you were saying about not trusting the masculine, about how we question ourselves, and that's in our physical body, that block is there to question. And I think we're doing that inquiry as a collective right now. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think we're trying to figure out what we were taught not to trust, how we can bring our truth back into alignment and create our individuated experience rather than what history has dictated us.
Yeah.
So it's phenomenal, the clear slates that we have the opportunity to work with as we're doing our own healing. And daring to ask for help and confirmation. And it's okay.
And thank you guys also today for talking about teaching people who aren't in touch with what their bodies are telling them to listen to their bodies, because that's such an important and simple piece too. We forget as empaths. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Blessing. Thank you for the halo.
Thank you, Jess. Wow.
What's
was-
coming through for you, Deb? I called you Deb. Does
Woo!
everybody call you Deb? That's so interesting.
I just, well, she was sharing about how she healed, and I just, so much can heal, you know, we physically, spiritually, and when Joy asks, you know, she wants to forgive. I believe angels, they've told me this, anything can heal. So if you're like stuck thinking something can't heal, why don't you like double dog dare the angels to heal it? Why not?
I love that. Triple dog there. I must say triple dog.
Yeah, triple. Why not?
I bet you they love a challenge, huh?
Yeah.
It's so easy. Let's challenge them. Let's see what they can do.
Mhm.
Play with them, right?
I think they like it.
It's not much. It's funny, Debbie, because what also comes up for me as Jess was speaking, was our own capacity to create how masterful we really are, and how we acquiesce that capacity onto others somehow. Not that we can't ask and ask for support and ask for co-creation, but to really go, you know what, I'm gonna play with this. I kind of got this. It's like, and I'm gonna see how I can bring in the troops to help me out with this thing or this life or relationship or with this situation or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
I know you live that way in so many ways. You really do. So it's so wonderful. Because again, you're living your work, you're living what you share with others, and that's why I was just so joyful and so fun and easy to have you on the show, because there's no trying, it just flows, it just is. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. Oh, I loved today so much. Wow.
Yeah, we get to play. All right, Debbie, thank you. Debbie, I know you're gonna get a lot of readings, so I'm sorry I welcome simultaneously.
I'm ready.
It's gonna be full.
I'm ready.
And really, thank you for your generosity and doing these readings every time that you're on the show for the special offer. Y'all, the link for the special offers in the chat box. Don't forget to check it out. Get your reading. The replay will be up in a couple of hours, and I'll look forward to seeing y'all on the next BTO call. Namaste. Love you guys. Bye, Debbie. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Bye, John. Bye, everybody.